Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this Facebook Live. Before we talk about all the fun stuff on the table, just make sure you know where you can find us on the internet. You can go to youtube.com/InForum to find this podcast and this Facebook Live whenever you'd like to, or you can go to InForum.com and just type in podcast. It'll take you to all of our latest and greatest stuff. Let's talk a little bit about what's on this table, Dylan, because we just made a big announcement on a separate Facebook Live we did. If you didn't see that, the Red Hot Chili Peppers are coming to the Fargo Dome.
You betcha.
Tickets go on sale December 9th. That is this Friday.
That is this Friday. It is this Friday.
10 o'clock in the morning. The concert is Thursday, April 6th. So that's going to be really fun and super exciting.
And the two side people for Fargo are The Strokes and King Princess.
Cool.
So
going to be a fun concert.
Yeah, should be a fun concert. It's only, what, you said 10?
Yeah, only 10 U.S. stops for the band.
And so Fargo is one of them. That's crazy.
Yeah, and they're going global. They're going to do another handful of stops around Europe. So kind of a pretty cool thing to be featured on that list.
Sure.
So,
absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about other stuff going on today, Dylan. So this morning you talked a lot about some of these lights people are seeing in the sky. We're getting a lot of cool pictures.
We are.
But there is a little bit of confusion as to what exactly people are seeing. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we got a lot of pictures of light pillars over the weekend, and those are caused by city lights, of course, and you get those little ice crystals in the sky. And of course, what happens, the light gets refracted off of those ice crystals, and you get light pillars, which sometimes can be confused with northern lights. A lot of people think that those are, but northern lights are only in the north sky, and you're only gonna, those are usually green, usually. So a lot of the times, a lot of pictures this weekend of those light pillars, and of course, it's a big winter phenomenon. We get those windy days or those really cold days, and those ice crystals lofted into the air. That's where we get those really cool photos, and we appreciate seeing all of those. So thank you for everyone for sending them in. Hopefully, it made sense to you this morning of what those exactly are.
Super cool pictures. So keep sending those in. What's the link they can send them into, or the email?
Weather@WDAY.com.
Perfect. All right, and then we are watching for a potential some snow overnight into tomorrow.
Just a little bit, not much. Quick hitting system, 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches in some spots. So nothing crazy. It's going to be temperatures dropping throughout the day today. So we're at 21 degrees according to my watch right now, and by this afternoon, we'll be in the low double digits, so.
Cool.
Nobody wants to hear that. Is it cool?
No. Well, literally cool.
Yeah, literally cool.
Temperatures.
You're right.
I was more like cool, like thanks for telling us, but.
Yeah. And then light snow tonight, probably affecting your Tuesday morning commute. Not a lot of snow, just enough to make the roads a little bit slippery. And then tomorrow for your Tuesday, the rest of the day should be cold, warming up to about 20 degrees, and then we get cold again Wednesday. High temperature of 8.
You get to be stuck out in that snow in the morning, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. We have to tune into first news on Wednesday. We'll see if I'm outside or not. Well, tomorrow I'm outside for sure.
Okay.
So Wednesday maybe too.
Cool. We'll be keeping track on all those road conditions for you.
You betcha.
Throughout the morning. All right, Dylan. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. In case you didn't know, my name's Scott Engen. Let's talk a little bit about some of our local headlines this morning. A lot to get to. Right now, a Fargo man is being held on multiple charges after reaching speeds of more than 120 miles per hour and leading police on a chase on his motorcycle. Last night, state troopers tried stopping that motorcycle for speeding on I-29 in Fargo. The motorcycle rider then took off, and he was heading north on I-29 before taking the Harwood exit. Officers stopped the chase when the rider got into town, which was Harwood, and then they saw him crash his motorcycle. Then he got up and he ran away. So officers chased him, they caught up with him, and they arrested him. That is 29-year-old Chase DeBoard of Fargo. He is facing 4 misdemeanor charges, and authorities say despite the crash, he was not hurt. All right, also right now, WDAY is working to learn more about a small plane crash that is responsible for knocking out power in Hettinger County this weekend. Deputies say that they are learning of a single propeller plane that made a hard landing in a field near Regent, North Dakota last night. The crash from the plane knocked down power lines there, cutting out power to a majority of that area. There was 3 people inside that small plane at the time of the accident. They're actually recovering this morning. They were taken to a nearby hospital with just minor injuries. The officers spent the night asking drivers to avoid that area along Enchanted Highway, and they detoured the traffic elsewhere. We're learning as of this morning, power has been restored to that area, and the highway is now reopened. All right. We're tracking developments out of Moorhead from a homicide investigation that we first told you about on Friday on First News. So we had video from that scene that we showed during the newscast this morning. Moorhead police responded to a call from a family who was doing a wellness check on a relative. That's when they found her dead. Police have not identified that woman, but the family is saying that it is the suspect's mother. James Coley Jr. was arrested for the suspected homicide, and we're now learning more details about that incident. It all stems back to when police were called to that same residence on November the 27th for a domestic dispute between Coley Jr. and his mother. Now, Coley Jr., he was released without bail, but was expected to obey court orders by staying away from that home, and if he did go there, he had to have a police escort. Coley Jr.'s mother told police at that time that her son suffered from mental illness, and when his emotions were high, that she was afraid of him. Coley Jr. was arrested in Wahpeton on Friday night, but his mother's car, which he took after the incident, has not been recovered. If you do have any information on where that could be, you are asked to call the police. A Grafton man will not take a county seat after being charged with vehicular homicide. This was happening just days after the election, if you maybe recall. Police say he was drunk when he crashed his vehicle that had 6 passengers inside into a tree, and it killed Sugar Beet Executive Director Jason Shotsky. Now, if you don't know, the Red River Valley Sugar Beet Growers Association represents roughly 2,700 sugar beet growers in North Dakota and in Minnesota who cooperatively own American Crystal Sugar Company. 46-year-old Christopher Thompson submitted his resignation on November 22nd. That's according to the Walsh County Auditor. He confirmed that to WDAY News. Thompson was slated to be sworn in tomorrow, Tuesday, when the commission would meet. Today, election recounts for 2 close state House races in northeastern Minnesota are scheduled to take place. In House District 3B, Republican Natalie Zeleznikar defeated longtime DFL incumbent Mary Murphy by 35 votes. The race in House District 3A was even closer than that. Republican Roger Scraba defeated incumbent DFL candidate Rob Eklund by just 15 votes. Very close race there. In both cases, the trailing candidates have requested a publicly funded recount. During the recounts, election officials individually review each ballot that was cast on election day. They do a very thorough job. Now, according to Secretary of State Steve Simon, about 1 out of every 2,000 or 3,000 ballots are marked in a way that is difficult for a scanning machine to read. So, of course, we'll keep you updated on what those recount results are. All right. One big thing happening on the national level today, on the Supreme Court level, is a major case that SCOTUS is taking up involving LGBTQ rights. The justices will hear arguments on whether or not business owners can refuse to provide a service to same-sex couples based on their religious beliefs and free speech. If the Supreme Court rules in favor of service providers, it could have a sweeping effect and impact, essentially carving out a legal exemption for business owners to deny any kind of service based on their personal beliefs and giving them an overriding right to say no. If you'll recall, this stems back to a few years ago. This kind of all began to be talked about when that baker of cakes, I can't remember exactly where it is. I want to say maybe Colorado, but I'm not for sure. But he was a baker of cakes, and he denied service to someone and claimed it was because of his beliefs. So now that's going all the way up to the Supreme Court. So pretty interesting stuff, and either way that it's ruled is going to have a big impact on a lot of people. All right, so we've been talking a lot about Christian Watson lately. Of course, the former Bison standout. He had another big game on Sunday against the Bears. His first catch he had was a touchdown from Aaron Rodgers, and then he got his first rushing touchdown of the season on a 46-yard run. That was a handoff from Aaron Rodgers, took that to the house, and it's been fun to see him just really explode onto the NFL scene after kind of a shaky start to his NFL career, but now he's absolutely on fire, and he's leading that team to a couple victories lately. They did beat the Bears yesterday, the Packers that is, 28-19, and that's certainly with the help of Watson's efforts. So we'll continue to see what he does. I believe he was named NFC Offensive Player of the Month, which is pretty cool, and now his name is being thrown in the ring for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So that would be a really, really cool honor for him to be awarded in his first season as a rookie. In meantime, in other news, Watson's old team is going prime time for this week's quarterfinal playoff game. The Bison, if you went to the game or watched online on ESPN Plus, beat the Grizzlies in second round play over the weekend. It was a pretty, pretty easy victory for the team. They won pretty handily. So they're going to be taking on Samford on Friday night. That game will also be on ESPN. It'll be on ESPN2 at 6 o'clock in the evening. So don't want to miss that. It'll be a big game. Don't forget, for 99 cents a month for your first 3 months, you can get an all-access pass to InForum.com. Just go to InForum.com/subscribe to get that deal, and we don't know how long it's going to last, so take advantage of it. And remember to join us for our evening newscasts. We have you covered starting at 4, then 5, 6, 9, and 10, and every weekday morning from 5 to 7 on First News. And of course, Dom is going to be talking all about Christian Watson and probably the Jets and Vikings game, and as well as NDSU football and the playoffs on Hot Bike. That starts at 9 o'clock and goes to 11 on WDAY Extra and Inform.com. Thanks for joining us, folks. Enjoy the rest of your day.